We are back again at Newport Folk, one of my new favorite festivals. It's my first time here. I have the pleasure of being joined by Simon and Izzy of the Strumbellas. Guys, how has the day been going so far?
It's been wonderful. We got here about 9 a.m. and they treated us really nice, and we've had a great time. We played a show, did some interviews, met some fans, hung out backstage, and it's been awesome.
Well, that is great. That sounds like the perfect festival day. Who are you looking forward to seeing?
I caught a bit of Julian Baker's set right after ours. I'm a huge fan of hers. Her songs are just so beautiful. And also caught a bit of Glenn Hansard, which was also too, because I've been a fan of his for so long.
Nice. I talked to Julian before I saw the set. That was one of the most incredible folk sets I've seen yet.
Yeah, totally.
Really made the weekend. But I want to ask you a quick question, just out of curiosity. I was on your website, and there's a little thing on there that says, we acknowledge the financial support of Factor, the Government of Canada, through the Department of Canadian Heritage, Music Fund, and private radio broadcasters. What does that all mean? Because I don't think we have something quite like that here in the States.
So Canada is absolutely wonderful about giving musicians money to tour and to make albums, and all those names you just said, like Factor and all that stuff, that's all programs to help musicians make albums and tour.
Sweet.
Yeah, I know it's really crazy, but you got to think it's Canada. We only have 30 million people, and we have a giant country, so it's really hard to tour and to make money because there's so few people and such a big place. It's not like the States where you can just every 2 hours is a major city. You know, you got to drive 14 to 18 hours sometimes to get to the next city. So the government steps in and helps musicians out, and it's a truly wonderful system.
That is great. I went to Montreal this summer. One of my new favorite cities. Such an awesome place to be. I know you guys are Toronto-based, I believe, but definitely love heading on up north. So you guys have a long tour staring you in the face. How are you guys going to pass the time on the bus and all that stuff?
We're big card players. We love to play this game called Euchre. I think it's a Canadian card game. We play that a lot, but we play poker, games, anything, movies, TV shows. But yeah, we love games, card games, and board games. Settlers of Catan. That's how we do to pass the time.
Sure. Sweet. And what do you want to do when you get home? What's like you're home? This is what I gotta get to.
I want to sleep. Simon.
Well, I like to try to get in around to golf.
Oh, nice.
I love golfing. I have kids also, so I hang out with my kids and my family and squeeze in a game of golf and relax.
Sounds like a plan. Now, Hope, such an awesome name for a record. I know this record was a tougher one to make just with the different stresses that went along with it. What gave you guys the hope to pull this record together in the end?
That's a good question. I think initially the reason we started to make the record is because I think we had a lot of cool melodies to work with, and that was what initially started us to say, hey, maybe we should make another record, because you kind of feel good when you write certain melodies and you think that there's something, and so once you get enough, you kind of say, well, it's time to make a record, and that's basically it. There's not much more math to it, not much more complexity to it. It's just a matter of we had some cool melodies we thought, and so let's make a record.
And do you think that sort of the pressure to make it was necessary looking back on it, or do you think that it was just kind of something that muddied the waters?
No pressure at all.
Good.
I mean, we write music for us and the stuff that we think is really cool, and we hope that other people like it, and that's always a risk to take, but it seems people are enjoying it, so no, there's no pressure at all. We just try to make music that we think is cool.
Nice. And do you guys have a vision for your next album or anything like that yet? Or?
Yeah, we do. It's called disco folk metal.
Disco folk metal?
I thought it was roller skate disco folk metal.
Roller skate disco folk metal.
Coming to a roller rink near you, I guess.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That would actually, you guys might be onto something. That would be really cool. And what do you think separates Hope from your previous two albums?
We really experimented with some new sounds and pushed our boundaries on this record, which was really fun. We decided one thing in our past records that we really wrote touring, and we toured and we wrote them with our instruments in our hand, and we really wanted a more pop alternative sound. We really wanted to experiment with those sounds, so we wrote without our instruments in our hands, so that way we could experiment with instruments that we don't normally play, like synthesizers or different keyboards or bells, horns, and so we got to have a lot of those elements on the record that we wouldn't have otherwise if I just had my violin and Simon just had his guitar. So that, I think, really shaped the album, how we wrote it.
Well, that's kind of cool in terms of, one of the things I love about folk is you can do it with just a violin or just instruments laying around. Do you guys have like a story of one of like the best just sort of impromptu shows or like house parties that you played from like way back when?
You know, we've played so many fun house parties over the years touring. One of our early ones we played was in Calgary in Canada, and a small clothing company called Camp Brand Goods put it on, and we played it. And it was just a small little living room, maybe 30 or 40 people, but the whole room was just dancing and going crazy. And then we all had a big dance party afterwards. All danced to Spirits in the Sky, and it was so fun. It's like one of our best memories.
You guys really got the crowd going today. So speaking of dance party, I mean, that was wicked cool, like right out there with everyone dancing around.
Yeah.
All in sync. I wanted to join in, but I don't have the confidence. Do you guys remember the first album you bought or the first show that you went to? Just kind of out of curiosity.
My first album was the Weezer Blue album.
Nice.
My first show was In Sync.
Oh, she said it. In sync.
In sync.
It was awesome.
She has no regrets.
Timberlake, how could you?
My first record was Tupac, All Eyes on Me, a classic. And I can't remember. I don't know my first show. I think I have no idea.
It's cool. That's all right. I'm sure it was a good one, whatever it was.
In Sync as well?
Yeah, I was with Izzy. It was In Sync.
Izzy at In Sync. Perfect. So Newport is all about, collaboration and spontaneous performances. If you guys could share the stage with anyone, who would you want to share it with?
Edward Sharp.
Is that a hint?
It's not a hint. It's he's a big inspiration to me and the band, and I'd love to share a stage with him. But that's, there's so many brilliant artists here, but that's just the first one that comes to mind for sure.
Wow, that's a good one. That's a good one for sure. Now, with the conventions happening in America, I have to ask a convention-related question. Melania plagiarized Michelle. If you guys could plagiarize anyone and take their song, make it your own, what song would you take?
Oh man, if I could say that I wrote Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, I'd be a happy man.
Same.
That's a good answer. That's a great answer.
I think that you can't go wrong with anything by Cohen. He's just incredible. And Canadian too, right?
Yeah, Canadian, yeah.
Perfect. Now, this will be my last question for you. Who has your ear? Who are you guys listening to right now?
I'm listening to a band called Lucius.
Oh my God, they were just here yesterday.
Yeah, I really like them, and they're super nice people. We met them, and I grew fond of them after meeting them, especially because they're so nice. Anybody you're listening to, Izzy?
I'm still really into the Kurt Weill record. I listen to that all the time. I don't know. I think I need to listen to more music.
Andreas Moe, I'm really into. Damien Rice, and that's about it.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for the time.
Thank you.
And
we appreciate it.
We'll catch up next time.
Sounds great, Jeff. Thank you very much.